Good evening and welcome to NoorNews. Tonight, we track the aftermath of a powerful earthquake in Japan, examine the latest escalation between US and Iran-backed forces in the Middle East, and look at President Zelensky's recent talks with Donald Trump. Let's begin with the unfolding situation in Japan. More than 100 aftershocks have rattled Japan following a powerful earthquake that has claimed at least 13 lives. The seismic activity continues to impact the region, prompting urgent warnings from local authorities. According to the BBC, officials are advising residents to remain on high alert, as geological experts warn that subsequent aftershocks could reach a magnitude of 7.0 in the coming days. The initial tremor caused significant structural damage and triggered widespread power outages, complicating rescue and recovery efforts currently underway in the affected prefectures. Emergency teams are working to clear debris and reach isolated communities, though their progress is being hampered by the ongoing instability of the ground. The Japan Meteorological Agency has maintained its vigilance, noting that the risk of further significant tremors remains elevated. While the immediate focus is on search and rescue operations, the government is also assessing the long-term impact on regional infrastructure. Residents in the hardest-hit areas have been urged to follow official guidance, avoid damaged buildings, and prepare for potential evacuations should conditions deteriorate further. International observers are monitoring the situation closely as Japan's disaster response teams continue to navigate the volatile aftermath of this major seismic event. Saudi Arabia has joined United States forces in conducting a series of targeted airstrikes against Iran-backed militias operating within Iraq. The military action follows a significant escalation in regional tensions, with U.S. Central Command reporting that these proxy groups have been responsible for a sustained campaign of attacks against American military installations and critical Saudi energy infrastructure. According to reports from the BBC and Al Jazeera, the joint operation was launched to neutralize launch sites and command centers utilized by the militias to facilitate these cross-border strikes. Officials from both nations stated that the mission was a necessary defensive measure to protect regional stability and ensure the security of global energy supplies. While the militias have not yet issued a formal response, the strikes mark a notable shift in Saudi Arabia's military posture, signaling a more direct involvement in countering proxy threats on its borders. Analysts suggest this coordination reflects a deepening security partnership between Riyadh and Washington as they seek to deter further aggression in the Gulf. Military observers are now monitoring the situation closely for potential retaliatory actions, as the region remains on high alert following the latest developments in this ongoing security crisis. Saudi Public Security has announced that Hajj and Umrah service companies now face financial penalties of up to 100,000 Saudi riyals for failing to report pilgrims who overstay their authorized visas. According to the Saudi Gazette, this enforcement measure is designed to ensure strict compliance with the kingdom's residency and border security regulations. The authorities clarified that the fine applies specifically to establishments that delay notifying competent agencies when a pilgrim remains in the country after their legal period of stay has expired. Crucially, the penalty structure is cumulative. The 100,000 riyal fine will be multiplied based on the total number of violators associated with a single company. This move is part of a broader effort to maintain the integrity of the pilgrimage visa system and manage the influx of visitors during peak seasons. In addition to these regulatory updates, public security has encouraged the public to report any observed violations of residency or labor laws. Citizens and residents are urged to contact 911 for reports in Mecca, Medina, Riyadh, and the Eastern Province, or 999 in all other regions. Officials have emphasized that all reports will be handled with complete confidentiality, and informants will bear no legal responsibility for their cooperation with the authorities. The Ministry of Transport, Communications and Information Technology has officially opened an 8-kilometer stretch of the newly upgraded road in Jabal Al Akhdar. This infrastructure project marks a significant development for the region, aimed at improving connectivity and enhancing the safety of travel for both residents and visitors navigating the mountainous terrain. According to the Times of Oman, the completion of this segment is part of a broader initiative by the ministry to modernize the Sultanate's transport network and facilitate smoother access to key areas within the Al-Dakhiliya Governorate. The upgraded road features improved engineering standards designed to withstand the unique geographical challenges of the Jabal Al Akhdar range. Officials noted that the project underscores the government's ongoing commitment to infrastructure investment, which remains a cornerstone of national development goals. By expanding and refining these critical transit routes, the ministry expects to reduce travel times and support the growing tourism and logistics sectors in the area. The opening of this 8-kilometer section follows rigorous safety inspections and quality assessments to ensure the route meets all national transport standards. Further phases of the road improvement project are expected to continue as part of the ministry's long-term strategic plan for the region. Canada has officially condemned the escalating violence committed by Israeli settlers in the occupied West Bank, while simultaneously calling for an immediate halt to all settlement expansion in the territory. According to Q&A, the Canadian government issued a formal statement on Wednesday, expressing deep concern over the deteriorating security situation and the impact of settlement activities on regional stability. Ottawa emphasized that the continued expansion of settlements remains a significant obstacle to achieving a sustainable two-state solution and undermines the prospects for lasting peace. The Canadian government's position aligns with broader international calls for restraint and adherence to international law regarding the status of the occupied territories. This diplomatic intervention follows a series of reported incidents involving settler-related violence, which have drawn increased scrutiny from global observers. By urging a cessation of expansionist policies, Canada is reiterating its commitment to the established international consensus that views such settlements as illegal under international law. The statement underscores Ottawa's growing apprehension regarding the humanitarian and political consequences of the ongoing tensions, as the international community continues to monitor the situation closely for any signs of de-escalation or further instability in the region. Tensions in the Middle East have escalated significantly following a missile strike on a United States military base in Jordan, which has prompted retaliatory action from coalition forces. According to reports from the BBC and Al Jazeera, the projectile targeted a facility housing American personnel, marking a notable expansion in the scope of regional hostilities. In the immediate aftermath of the attack, United States and Saudi-led coalition forces launched a series of coordinated strikes against Iran-backed militia positions located within Iraqi territory. These operations were described by military officials as a defensive response aimed at degrading the operational capabilities of groups accused of orchestrating the initial missile launch. The strikes targeted command centers and logistics hubs associated with these militias, further complicating the security landscape across the Levant and the Persian Gulf. International observers are closely monitoring the situation, noting that the exchange represents a dangerous intensification of the ongoing shadow conflict. While regional powers have yet to issue formal statements regarding the full extent of the damage, the deployment of assets by both sides underscores the heightened state of alert. Diplomatic channels remain active as global leaders call for restraint to prevent a broader regional confrontation that could destabilize the already fragile security architecture of the Middle East. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has described his recent meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump at the White House as a productive step forward in strengthening his nation's defensive capabilities. According to reports from the BBC and Al Jazeera, the discussions centered primarily on the potential for licensing agreements that would allow for the domestic production of Patriot air defense interceptors within Ukraine. The Patriot system remains a critical component of Ukraine's strategy to counter ongoing aerial bombardment, and securing a local supply chain for interceptor missiles would mark a significant shift in the country's military logistics. During the talks, President Zelensky emphasized the urgent need for enhanced air defense infrastructure to protect civilian centers and energy grids from sustained missile and drone attacks. While the White House has not yet released a comprehensive list of the specific agreements reached, the meeting signals a continued focus on long-term security cooperation between Washington and Kyiv. Analysts suggest that moving toward localized production could reduce Ukraine's reliance on international aid shipments, though the technical requirements for manufacturing such advanced weaponry remain a complex hurdle. Both leaders characterized the dialogue as constructive, with further technical discussions expected to follow in the coming weeks to determine the feasibility of the proposed manufacturing licenses. Thank you for joining us for this verified update on today's global headlines. We remain committed to bringing you the facts as they happen. NoorNews, verified before published.